I'm going to talk about why twin flame connections are so rare. I've had a lot of questions recently. I've seen a lot of comments around this. And to sort of start the conversation, what you have to understand about twin flame connections is that you physically cannot become twin flame activated until you reach a certain level of your soul's evolution, until there is a certain level of soul lessons, of soul maturity that can handle that type of activation. So the reason that twin flame connections are so extremely rare is because we are on the precipice of the earth basically going through a mass acceleration in its evolution. And so there are a certain number of souls that are here at this time to activate these types of connections, to bring in a new frequency of relationship and anchor what is essentially the union codes, the union timeline. The basis of what spirituality asks of you. So when you have a spiritual connection with somebody, the basis of that connection is devotion. It is devotion to something bigger than you, devotion to something that feels bigger than you. And the reason that it feels bigger than you is because it's asking you to evolve and become something bigger than what your identity has known you to be up until that point. Twin flame connections are not designed just to activate people's wounds so that the focus becomes healing and transcending the experiences or the pain or the trauma that they've experienced before. It's about activating the multidimensional body of self so that person can become self-actualized in their spirituality, self-actualized in their gifts, understand that they are being called physically to something that is bigger than the life that they have known previously, and so they have to evolve from that identity in order to actually anchor the timeline of union. I'm going to be completely honest, is that obviously I've created a lot of content about twin flames and I've coached a lot of people, and there's something that people really struggle to understand is the nature of devotion. Devotion asks you to commit yourself to the highest version of you, and what a lot of people don't realise is that etched into their psychology, because of the nature of obviously the way that humanity has been for eons, is that spirituality was taken and basically housed by the structure of organized religions, which are born and created on the basis of fearing something bigger than you. And so when somebody has a calling of devotion to something that is bigger than them, that is actually based in their spirituality, a spiritual connection, part of their psychology is still fighting against it because they think something outside of them is trying to control them, because those either past life experiences, whatever's been etched into their lineage in association with spirituality, is still associating that with control. Religion is not spirituality. Religion was a framework created to control spirituality. And so part of you unraveling from those stories is understanding what you've been born into, where those social influences are still affecting your psychology that would have you push against something that is basically coming from the purest essence of your soul within you, and leaning into that rather than trying to fight against it. And devotion is going to ask you to do certain things that are an act of devotion to your body, an act of devotion to your well-being. So if that act of devotion says to you, right, you need to kick alcohol on the head because it's messing up your ability to be able to activate certain gifts and to be able to anchor certain gifts. If it's saying to you, this certain diet is really detrimental to your health, an act of devotion right now is to shift your diet, to do more movement. Those are all acts of devotion in alignment with the higher version of you, the one that can actually house the multidimensional self. And so if you continue fighting against all of these different ways in which your body is communicating devotion to you, you are not going to be able to anchor the frequency of union. So when you're hearing the narratives of people saying things like, well, I'm just going to get to a union, my twin flame's not doing anything, and then I'm just going to open myself up to a soulmate. This isn't somebody that is anchored in the frequency of devotion. They are still attempting to control a process because they don't like what the process is asking of them. And they have an aversion or an idea of self, of what inner union looks like, or what being balanced within the self looks like, that fundamentally isn't being expressed or shown in the outside world, which means there is still changes, there's still things that need tending to, and so they are attempting to control the process by saying, I'm going to manifest a soulmate now. And so you need to understand that the reason that this is a rare connection is because it is a calling. It is a calling of, you are anchoring something that is on the front line of human evolution right now. Are you devoted enough to be able to do it? Because what does devotion ask of you? Consistent practice, commitment, patience, which is why notoriously twin flames, after they've been activated, will go into a degree of separation for a while. It will ask deep self-value of you. How much do you value yourself, your connection to your body, your mind, the connections you are allowing yourself to consistently engage in your life? Where there's energy leaks, where are you still engaging in dysfunction? Where do you still need to tend to your own shadow? Where are you holding yourself back from becoming more of who you are now? All of these questions are not easy questions to sit with. They require a strong and resilient soul. And so if you are not committed to that process, if devotion is not something you can get on board with, the union frequency cannot anchor in your life. You've got to remember that right now we're living in a world where people are brainwashed by dopamine hits. So they think, I need to have this now. If I don't get this now, if I don't get to act on this now, then I don't get to have joy and fun in my life. And it's because they are settling right now for dopamine hits of joy and fun, and they don't understand the true nature of pleasure, which is connected directly to devotion and consistency and having a strong foundation of self. And so when you really start to understand that, and it's not about you being restricted from having joy and not being able to do the things that used to feel fun anymore, it's about creating a foundation of active pleasure in your life where everything is harmonious and cohesive and expansive in a way where the fullness of the emotional capacity within you is a consistently overflowing cup. If you would like the extra support, there are of course one-to-one sessions available to book on my website now under the Twin Evolution sessions. So, if you've been twin flame activated, feel as if you're on the twin flame journey, or sacred union and anchoring the frequency of union is something that you're interested in doing, there are those sessions available to book now. There is also a very powerful advanced energy work system that is a self-initiated attunement that is also available to purchase on my website. This one was specifically downloaded for people that are twin activated, and that's the Divine Love Alignment Attunement. Helps you to work through resistance and gain clarity and genuine truth and insight around your connection, your relationship to it as well. There's a lot of other tools on my website, so if you're interested and want to know what would personally work for you and what would be beneficial for you, then please feel free to ask and to reach out. But this is a subject area that is really important that people really understand when it comes to twin flames and the nature of twin flames and what those connections really ask of you.